Out of the 7 continents of the world, exists one with 54 countries that is home to 2,000 languages, Africa. Africa is distinctively unique continent among all 7 continents of the world. It is rich in cultural heritage and diversity. A wealth of natural resources offers breathtaking tourist attractions. These interesting facts about Africa are must to be known. This is Inside Africa.
Keeps running, mama boy. Kasai, Moran, the warrior keeps fighting, little boy.
This is the history of Patrice Emery Lumumba. Lumumba was born in the village of Onalua in Kasai province, Belgian Congo. He was a member of the small Batetela ethnic group, a fact that became significant in his later political life. His 2 principal rivals, Mwas Shombe, who led the breakaway of the Katanga province, and Joseph Kasavubu, who later became the Congo's president, both came from large, powerful ethnic groups from which they derived their major support, giving their political movements a regional character. In contrast, Lumumba's movement emphasizes all Congolese nature. After attending a Protestant mission school, Lumumba went to work in Kindu Port-en-Pain, where he became active in the club of the Evalués. He began to write essays and poems for Congolese journals. He also applied for and received full Belgian citizenship. Lumumba next moved to Leopoldville, presently Kinshasa, to become a postal clerk and went on to become an accountant in the post office in Stanleyville, now Kisangani. There, he continued to contribute to the Congolese press. His entry into politics in 1955, Lumumba became regional president of a purely Congolese trade union of government employees that was not affiliated, as were other unions, to either of the 2 Belgian trade union federations, the Socialist and the Roman Catholic. He also became active in the Belgian Liberal Party in the Congo. Although conservative in many ways, the party was not linked to either of the trade union federations, which were hostile to it. In 1956, Lumumba was invited with others on a study tour of Belgium under the auspices of the Minister of Colonies. On his return, he was arrested on a charge of embezzlement from the post office. He was convicted and condemned 1 year later, after various reductions of sentence to 12 months imprisonment and a fine. When Lumumba got out of prison, he grew even more active in politics. In October 1958, he, along with other Congolese leaders, launched the Congolese national movement, Mouvement National Congolais, the first nationwide Congolese political party. In December, he attended the first All-African People's Conference in Accra, Ghana, where he met nationalists from across the African continent and was made a member of the permanent organization set up by the conference. His outlook and vocabulary, inspired by Pan-African goals, now took on the tenor of militant nationalism. As nationalist fervor increased, the Belgian government announced a program intended to lead the independence for the Congo, starting with the local elections in December 1959. The nationalists regarded this program as a scheme to install puppets before independence and announced a boycott of the elections. The Belgian authorities responded with regression. On October 30th, there was a clash in Stanleyville that resulted in 30 deaths. Lumumba was imprisoned on a charge of inciting to riot. The MNC decided to shift tactics, entered the elections, and won a sweeping victory in Stanleyville with the 90% of the votes. In January 1960, the Belgian government convened a round-table conference in Brussels of all Congolese parties to discuss political change, but the MNC refused to participate without Lumumba. Lumumba was thereupon released from prison and flown to Brussels. The conference agreed on a date for independence, June 30th, with national elections in May. Although there was a multiplicity of parties, the MNC came out far ahead in the elections, and Lumumba emerged as the leading nationalist politician of the Congo. Maneuvers to prevent his assumption of authority failed, and he was asked to form the first government, which he did on 24th of June 1960. His prime ministership. Almost immediately after the June 30th independence date, some units of the army rebelled, largely because of objections to their Belgian commander. Moise Tshombe took advantage of the ensuing confusion, using it as an opportunity to proclaim that the mineral-rich province of Katanga was ceding from the Congo. Belgium sent in troops ostensibly to protect Belgian nationals in the disorder. But the Belgian troops landed principally in Katanga, where they sustained Tshombe's successionist regime. The Congo appealed to the United Nations to expel the Belgians and help them to restore internal order. As Prime Minister, Lumumba did what he could do to redress the situation. His army was an uncertain instrument of power, his civilian administration untrained and untried. The United Nations forces were condensing and assertive, and the political alliances underlying his regime very shaky. The Belgian troops did not leave, and the Katanga secession continued. Since the United Nations forces refused to help suppress the Katangese revolt, Lumumba appealed to the Soviet Union for planes to assist in transporting his troops to Katanga. He asked the independent African states to meet in Leopoldville in August to unite their efforts behind him. His moves alarmed many, particularly the Western proofs and powers and the supporters of President Kasavubu, who pursued a moderate course in the coalition government and favored some local autonomy in the provinces. His dismissal, arrest, and assassination. On September 5th, President Kasavubu dismissed Lumumba, but the legalities of the move were immediately contested by Lumumba as a result of the discord. There were two groups now claiming to be legal central government. On September 14th, power was seized by the Congolese army leader Colonel Joseph Mobutu, later president of Zaire as Mobutu Sese Seko, who later reached a working agreement with Kasavubu. In November, the General Assembly of the United Nations reorganized the credentials of Kasavubu's government. The independent African states split sharply over the issue. Meanwhile, in October, Lumumba had been placed under house arrest in Leopoldville, guarded not only by Mobutu's forces but by those of the UN as well, which provided him with protection. After the General Assembly decided to recognize Kasavubu's government, Lumumba escaped from home confinement and sought to travel to Stanville, where his supporters had control. However, he was caught by Mobutu's forces and arrested on December 2nd. Lumumba was initially held at a military camp in Thisville, now Mbanza-Ngungu, but concerns that the soldiers there were sympathetic to him led Belgian, Congolese, and Katangan authorities to arrange for his transfer to a different location they deemed to be more secure, and one that will almost certainly guarantee his death. On January 17, 1961, Lumumba had two associates, Joseph Okito and Maurice Mpolo, were flown to Elizabethville, now Lubumbashi, where they were delivered to the secessionist regime in Katanga and its Belgian advisors. On the flight there, they had been beaten by the soldiers escorting them, and once they landed in Katanga, they were beaten again. Later that day, Lumumba, Okito, and Mpolo were executed by a firing squad under Belgian command. Although their bodies were initially thrown into shallow graves, they were later dug up under the direction of Belgian officers, hacked into pieces, and dissolved in acid or burnt by fire. The Katangan government withheld official announcement of his death until February 13th, and then claimed that Lumumba had escaped from their custody and had been discovered by villagers who killed him. Rumors of Lumumba's death had circulated soon after it occurred. The government's explanation of his death was quickly disputed, although it will take decades for the full circumstances surrounding his death to be made public. His death caused a scandal throughout Africa and beyond. Retrospectively, even his enemies proclaimed him a national hero.